me at this time. On my left here, I have John Arts, a gentleman who's been president of the Dutch Canadian Society from 1970 till 1977. I also have with me Mr. Ted Smink, who was the originator of the presentation of flowers at the Cenotaph in London. John, do you mind if I ask you a question here? Since you were president for 7 years, you were obviously heavily involved with the Dutch Canadian Society. I wonder if you could perhaps elaborate a little bit on just how things went for 7 long years.
Well, Mr. Busetto, I'm glad you asked that. First of all, let me say that I enjoyed every minute of it. So when you say that it were 7 long years, they didn't really seem all that long. Looking back, I feel that during that particular period, a great deal was accomplished for the Dutch Canadian Society as well as for the community as a whole. Things did not always run smoothly, but the challenge was always there. Perhaps I should also add that a president, whoever he may be, of any organization is only one person. And as one man alone, there's not much you can achieve, really, and it's through the hard work of the other officers and directors in the board, and indeed of the total membership as a whole, that you reach these goals.
Oh, that's great, John. And in other words, Brisano, but you wouldn't mind running for president again? Who knows what the future will bring?
I believe that certainly I'm still very interested in the Dutch Canadian Society, and I always will be. However, I did have the opportunity to work for the club as president for 7 years, and I'm sure that there is other people just as interested as I am, perhaps a bit younger, who have perhaps some younger ideas, and I believe these people should also be given the opportunity, to serve in the board of directors.
Well, I take it then, John, that you're still an active member of the Dutch Canadian Society today.
Yes, I am. To me, it's a home away from home.
Well, that's great. Thank you very much for coming down this afternoon, John. I appreciate your talking to us. And I'll go over to Ted Smink, the originator of the presentation of the flowers at the Cenotaph. Ted, I wonder if you could just elaborate a little bit on how this got started. It's a terrific idea, and everybody's very proud of it. I wonder if you could just fill us in a little bit.
Sure, I'll be glad to. I was in Holland during the war from 1940 to 1945, and whoever has been through that war for 5 full years knows all the hardships and the sufferings and deprivations that the people went through, especially people in the western part of Holland, where after the landings at Arnhem and the fact that the Allied forces couldn't cross the Rhine, from that time on, in September 44 till May 45, the people of Western Holland were starved, and they died by the thousands. So when the Allied army came in, it were the Canadians that came into the western part of Holland and liberated Holland as the last part of Western Europe. And after the deprivations and everything we had lost, and nothing had been produced, we hadn't been able to buy anything, we had no food, we had nothing to give these people that liberated us. So what we did was came out with flags and flowers. And the girls, of course, had lots of kisses for them.
And
they climbed on the tanks and showered them with kisses, and everybody threw flowers on the tanks. And whoever went through that experience will never ever forget it, especially not the troops that came in. So it came to my mind that it would be a nice action to repeat that gesture of our gratitude for the liberation of Holland by presenting flowers to the living people that on Remembrance Day every year come together to honor their fallen comrades, the people who died in the liberation of Europe and elsewhere. And so for the last 6 years, the Dutch-Canadian community has dressed up in ethnic costumes, in national costumes, and we have gathered up several hundreds of bouquets of flowers each year. One time they were donated by the flower growers of Holland and flown to Canada by KLM, special delivery, and they were given out by us to the veterans after the ceremonies at the cenotaph.
Well, Ted, I know it's deeply appreciated by our veterans. I can certainly see that because I've been at the cenotaph myself on the 11th, and it's just very gratifying when you see the veterans walking there with those flowers. And but how many people approximately are involved in this now? Or would you like to see more of them involved?
We've had a good representation of the Dutch people attending these festivities, or if you will, commemorative gestures. Of course, you have to remember, Remembrance Day is not a national holiday.
Definitely.
And now even the schools are going on Remembrance Day, and they have their activities in the schools so that fewer and fewer people are able to attend. And despite the fact that many people have to work and kids have to go to school, we still have had between 30 and 50 people out who took the trouble of dressing up in Dutch national costumes and stand the hardships of the weather, the snow and the cold and the wind, and do this in commemoration of the liberation of Holland.
Well, Ted, I'm sure any Dutchman listening today would be proud to participate in that type of a function. If there's anyone out there listening at this time, could they contact you if they wanted to participate?
Oh, by all means. Anyone is welcome. Yes, it's open to anyone.
Get in contact with anyone at the Dutch-Canadian Society.
Sure.
Well, thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming down today, and appreciate your views, and I wish you both continued success. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Joe.
Thank you very much.